and I shouldn't overheat since the sun is going down. And so just sat here for the day, and I'm just thinking, like, my thoughts are slowing down, my research is slowing down, and so I might as well just start talking about what I don't know. The only new thing I really found out today was that the court clerks have a computer that I could bring my yes, good evening, David Bruce. Computer, I could bring my the thumb drive to, that I was given by the prosecutor. So I was given this little thumb drive by the prosecutor. Now this either has the audio of the call or video of the body cams. I got two of these, so I need to find that second one now. I didn't really think much of these. I mean, I downloaded them on my laptop, so I could just put everything on one stick and be fine. But I'd like to find that second one. I was trying to decide, should I bring my computer in? I was actually seriously considering buying another, buying like a tablet or something to bring in. Because the way the trolls talk, I might get my laptop seized because of the porn allegations. They might try to blow this up. I mean, they had every opportunity to just take my laptop when they arrested me, but they fumbled that. And well, the judge is trying to help pick up the fumble by ordering me to produce videos. Like like I'm producing videos. I'm producing a new video here. Everything has got a wide latitude, and all videos where I discussed my arrest are um are relevant. All right, so this is another relevant video for my case. I'm talking about my case, so it's relevant. So this is a part of the wide latitude. Evidence has a wide latitude to it, so that's that's how they want to roll when they got a lot of free time. It depends on how much free time they got, how dedicated they are to all their research. And IVS or IV, whatever that is a dedicated investigator, possibly a previous cop, because investigators tend to have been cops, or gotten that kind of training previously, and then turned towards the lowly profession of investigating, where it doesn't have as much action and adventure into it. Oh yeah, I'm a former lawyer. It doesn't have as much, like, let's say, it doesn't have as much, an investigator doesn't get the recognition that other professions, that the cop profession gets. So they work behind the scenes, and that's probably where IVS should be. Let's see, should I remove? Put user in timeout. I'll put you in timeout for right now. You know, I'll give you a chance to come back, and I don't know, just sit and listen, because that's what you guys do. Uh, and then form your opinions with the prosecutor later. Let's see, Cassie, wish I could stay and hang out, but I have to go to work. Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is a slow video. I don't expect to accomplish too much here. So I don't think I can untime out, right? View deleted. Oh, I deleted that message. Put use. Could I put? All right, I already put them in timeouts, and it says I can do it again. Huh. Whatever. So I think, yeah, I'll bring in, for my trial. I'll just bring in my prosecutor's thumb drives. They have computers at the courthouse. I learned. I talked to the court clerk, and I'm like, hey, how do I play a video? And she's like, you can bring in a laptop, or we got a laptop. So yeah, I already got the thumb drives from the prosecutor. Why not use their computers too? So yeah, my trial will be open to the public, 9 o'clock, March 23rd. But no cameras. Judge Owsley doesn't like the camera. That's probably why seems a little harder on me. They don't really they don't like how the cameras are pointed at them and how they portray them. It causes them to have to be more self-aware of what's going on with their mannerisms and what they say and who they could possibly offend hundreds of miles away from here. So there's an instant. Okay, yeah, you're on to them. All right, you got up to 7. I'm on to them. Good job. You got up to 7. You're lucky. That's your lucky number. So, what else do we got? What's in the news today? Gas prices going up. So I sat here all day. I'm saving on gas. When I was in the military on Okinawa Air Force Base, it's Kadena Air Force Base on the island of Okinawa. There was some kind of gas issue in 1997, 98, where my sergeants were telling us to reduce our driving. Like, we actually were told to park and go on foot patrols more often. So there was a gas issue at that time, and I'm not quite sure what was the details. I know that the Japanese yen was struggling, and the U.S. dollar was the U.S. dollar was weaker against the Japanese yen, because I was getting like a stipend or whatever they call those, a little extra. My paycheck would fluctuate from week to week because of the transfer rate between the Japanese yen and the American dollar. And before I got there in 95, I got there in 97. Before that, the dollar was very strong, and the soldiers were bragging about how they were getting so much more in their paychecks, and then I come and it's not as much, not enough to brag about, making that extra money to go off base and cover the extra higher costs or something. So there's that. So yeah, I got a trial to prepare for. There's arguments to make. I got a pretty good message from one of my trolls that I put on my Twitter. Does Kevin James wants to know if I believe in God? I don't know. I don't really worship. There's kind of a neat scene off in the distance. Can that be seen? There's those messages that are in the way. There's a church off in the distance. Not so visible, is it? No, is it? It's the Twin Towers, but oh, I'm looking at the courthouse. Okay. Oh, there they are. Okay, I just had to lean. See those Twin Towers? I think those are a part of a church. So it's kind of neat. But with beliefs in God, I'm not really a very spiritual person. I'm trying to think in more of a rational way, but I deal with a lot of people who don't think in rational ways, so I have to adjust how I talk in that respect. And that's no problem. I don't protest talking in a spiritual manner, like there's good spirits and bad spirits. I don't mind talking like that every so often, but I do have a tendency to focus to keep my conversation more on a logical level, trying to point out. I'm constantly trying to point out hypocrisy, especially with this court case. I don't think about hypocrisy as much when I don't have any any criminal cases, but I'm constantly, I switch up my thinking a lot, in a wide range. I think a lot about the hypocrisy of my accusers, a lot in different ways, as much as I can when I got a criminal trial, a criminal case. But then when I don't think about hypocrisy as much. I just think about getting out and looking at things and exercising and eating right. I don't think about exercising and eating right as much when I'm facing criminal charges. Salty Explorer, world government elites playing games with the civilians. Yeah, okay. Why did they give timeout? He should be done with his timeout right about now, right? Didn't he ask for it? The judge needs to recuse himself from your case since he signed the arrest warrant. It's a conflict of interest. You know, I never brought the conflict of interest up. I only brought up that he did sign that arrest warrant, and he explains that the arrest warrant isn't before the court as evidence that could be used in my criminal trial because it's only enough to get me tossed in jail upon arrest. It's a 48-hour affidavit for arrest warrants. They gotta write something up, get it into the judge within 48 hours, and it just brings up enough arguments to have me arrested. So probable cause. It's a probable cause warrant. And then I mean, the way the judge talks, that's it. That's all, as far as it goes. It's like, it's this, whatever. Because, I mean, it could be amended, too. They could search for more charges afterward. It's a short time limit type of issue. But yeah, he signed that. And if they did have decent oversight, and I think in an ideal world they would have a second judge to do the trial. I already had one different judge conduct my bail hearing, which was nothing. It was just something like, while I was in jail, I just talked to a judge on the phone, and she's like, your bail's $1,500. That's it. I tried to argue it, but I had a list of things to say, but are actually asking for an OR bond was the last thing, and I was being rushed off the phone. I was being rushed off by the phone by the guard, the same guard who told me that they forgot about me. Let's see. Markle says it's true. He needs to recuse himself. Yes. Cat Sense, thank you. Acabe, stay strong. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. $20. That's very helpful. That'll go towards gas. I read the transcript, and it seems to me the judge is prosecuting from the bench. Yeah, the judge is definitely showing prosecutorial tendencies, especially with this evidence thing. Two things: the evidence, and there's definitely the evidence. His demands for evidence was really odd. All right, I told him I don't have to give anything. I mean, and the thing is, it's not like I'm hiding anything. It's like the prosecutor knows about what I've uploaded on YouTube, yet he's saying that he's only getting partial videos on YouTube. And that prompts me to ask, in which I didn't ask. That's the thing. They just, I got to say, they bombarded me with this partial video thing. They bombarded me with this Dropbox that was never mentioned on February 15th hearing. That suddenly Judge Owsley asks the prosecutor, did you get anything in your Dropbox? And the prosecutor's like, not one scintilla. And I'm like, what? A Dropbox? Where did that come into play? We never talked about any Dropboxes. So that was a surprise to hear. We only discussed, the closest thing that we discussed was email. And of course, email is limited to, I don't know, 26 megabytes or something. So, let's see, Michael, it's not your job to prove yourself guilty. You know, this would be interesting. I did send that answer that somebody else wrote for me, saying that I have nothing to bring forth as part of my defense, and I emailed that to both the prosecutor and judge, and I have to sign it. I'm going to go tomorrow to the clerk of courts and sign it, and that's it. It's along the lines of the law. What the law says, if you only bring forth evidence that you're going to present to court. Yet George Owsley goes above and beyond that, and that's very troubling to me. When the law stops at a certain line, and he goes above that, just like the cops. The law stops at a certain line. You need reasonable suspicion to detain somebody, and you need that person to be detained to ID them. They went above that and just asked me my name, my ID, and then arrested me over that. They went above, and the judge continues to go above, keeping that spirit of civil rights violations alive. So they say you could get justice in court. Well, it doesn't look so much like it in my case. I'm using myself as an example with this justice thing. Oh, justice is blindfolded. Well, with this evidence thing, it doesn't sound so blindfolded to me. I mean, there's a hypocrisy going on right before us in daylight, broad daylights, with these guys. The hypocrisy, it's best, and it works really good when you're in an official capacity, an official position, a government like position of authority. It really looks like it's okay that they can get away with it by pushing people's pushing their legal limits. They operate under the good old boys laws, and I'm like, with the good old boys, they want to be named. You want to name the good old boys. You want to know who is who. If it's a good old boy system, then you don't waste your time learning the laws. You learn who these people are. That's what it comes down to. It's a personal friendship system where knowing who the person is a little bit, and how other people feel about them. You could listen, once you learn who people are, and maybe if other people talk about them, you get a good sense of what's going on, rather than trying to figure out, oh, what's the law? Let's start focusing on the law. Well, these good old boys don't pay attention to the law nearly as much as each other's attitudes. So get to know who they are. And that's not easy. Especially, well, it's just not easy. Honestly, I wonder how well you understand the legal issues here. Yeah, I don't understand it great. My experience is that the legal system works for people with money. The legal system works. Yeah, well, you could only throw so much money at them. I mean, yeah, I didn't need a lot of money to get out of jail. $200. I mean, that's high enough, but you don't need a lot of money to get out of jail. And I emailed Townsend to ask. Townsend is just a couple blocks away. I asked him how much his hourly rate was, and he never answered. So what do I do? Tell him that I have a lot of money? I could be like, okay, what's your hourly rate? If you have to ask what their hourly rate is, then you're obviously not going to be able to afford it, right? That's a lot of the attitudes. If you have to ask how much it costs, then you're not going to be able to afford it. Maybe that was my mistake. Maybe I should have just gone right into the questioning of whether he could help me or not. Save me. I need a lawyer to save me. So I've been spending my time more researching the legal procedures, because what am I gonna do? Like, I got to go north to get out of this state. I'm not gonna go straight into Texas. Thank you, Michelle Krezuktow, for the $5. That's nice of you. Hunkster, have you looked to see if ACLL can help? Well, I mean, in Idaho, I asked ACLU, and I even wrote to the Attorney General. And this is a case where I got arrested over my ID. What a surprise. And I sent the video to the Attorney General, and they just thanked me and said they didn't see any problems, and that was it. And I'll admit the ACLU said that they were watching. What does that mean? So, and then later I get arrested in Colorado. A couple years later, Idaho is 2016, then 2018, Root County, Colorado. I emailed the ACLU and they just never responded. I did get a public defender. That is a city where the public defender actually shows up at jail on your arraignment day. Or no, just on your, no, it's a bond day on the day of your, while you're in jail is for the bonds. That prosecutor or the public defender actually is there for the inmates. Right there. I mean, this is a jail that supplied pens and paper, a real luxury compared to Louisiana. In the mountains of Colorado, they have a little bit of money. It's Steamboat Springs, exactly. And they have a little bit of money that serve tea and okay meals. So I had this public defender. She spoke up for me. I didn't have to say a word to the judge. This judge here, I've never had. This is the most conversation I've had directly with the judge ever. But that's Louisiana for you. They don't supply pens and paper in jail. You're a lot more restricted. It's dirtier. I actually got an infection from this jail that I've never gotten an infection before. I usually get headaches from the light and the stink. So let's see. It would be interesting to see how a lawyer would approach this case. The lawyer would definitely take in what my trolls have been saying, and I twittered the latest updates to my trolls argument that he says Cloyd's going to use or at least should seriously consider, because it looks good. It looks like a good approach by the prosecution to really dig into this porn issue, to really get to the bottom of it, do his porn research. That's going to motivate some people, some men. Some men will really enjoy that kind of, the investigator, they'll really enjoy that kind of research, trying to figure out how to prosecute me with those allegations. It'll be interesting, and I applaud them for really digging deep like that, because it's really interesting to see how low these tyrants will go to push our civil rights boundaries. It's interesting. I challenged them. As soon as I was arrested, I challenged the cops. I'm like, do your worst. Make me look bad. Make me look worse than I am. It's your job to make me look worse than I am. All you can do is welcome it. I can't sit and say, hey guys, I'm a good guy. What are you doing? I don't break the law. Please give me a break. I'm not going to beg for that. I'm not going to beg for their forgiveness. I'm just going to say, do your worst. All right? I'm all for it. People do their worst to me a lot. And it's just become part of the routine for me. I deal with some bombastic accusation, and I try to take it in as quickly as I can, let the shock run through me, and have as much time as I can before the ultimate trial. Have as much time between the shock to the trial. You start shocking me right before trial. That's tough to deal with. I will say that it was a real shock when Judge Owsley started putting. He had me swear. Do you swear to? He had the court clerk swear me in right when he walked to his bench. do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, wah wah wah. And I'm like, this is weird. It's obviously he's coming at me with something. So he started in on accusing me of recording in the courtroom. And I'm like, well, I don't have anything that the public can see. What are you talking about? I started challenging him for his evidence. He was challenging me about recording in the courtroom, and I'm like, well, where's your evidence? I need time to prepare for this new trial. And he said he was only considering putting me on a contempt of court trial. And it's like, for these contempt, yeah, and it was a consideration. It's not like they just like it felt like he was springing it on me, but it had to be more of he could put me in jail right away, like a 48-hour warrant type of thing, similar in the contempt, because the end punishment is the same, 6 months in jail if convicted for the contempt. So it's something where you need to be allowed, because I would have pled not guilty, and then I would have asked, I would have done another discovery. Where's your discovery on this? He's allowed to make a motion, so that's interesting, and it shows on the transcripts. Judge is allowed to just instantly make a motion to consider putting me in contempt of court. He made an instant motion, and when he makes the motion, you have to swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So it was an interesting it was interesting to see. I've never had that. I've never experienced that before. Yeah, I didn't touch a Bible for it. When society complies, they start arresting good guys to keep their jobs. Okay. When I look up your name, the first result pops is about being arrested for child porn. Yep. Yeah, I made a video about it, and I gotta say, it was some guy kind of pressured me into it. He was getting me thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I should talk about this. It's a little, well, back then I was a little more fresh in my mind, but I'm talking like fresh in my mind at 10 years after that arrest occurred. That happened in what, Rice Lake, Wisconsin, 2005. I don't remember quite exactly. Paul Hurt, who's dead now, reported me to the cops while I was at work, and then they came and took my computers. This was back when I had a desktop. Haven't had a desktop in years. And yeah, it was what, Officer Chris Fitzgerald and Steve Rue. I don't know where they're at now. What are they, like in their late 40s? This is what, their early 2000s. They might still be cops, and they're the ones who arrested and investigated me, and then a few months later gave me my computer back. So that was it. And people do contact the Rice Lake Police Department every so often, and the Rice Lake Police Department has their canned response saying that something like there could have been something on the computer, but they erased everything. So whatever. But I was, and there's a report. They put a later report on top of the box of my computer stuff, and I started trying to read it, but then the investigator was like, "Oh, that's not for you." So he had some kind of report. It's an internal report that you'd have to do a public records request on, and find out what exactly. Because I mean, people who have contacted the Rice Lake Police Department have only gotten a couple of short sentence statements about their conclusions, but they have a whole report that written up that's got to be in a file of some kind, probably under my name. You could probably do a records request on my name. They have a report about this arrest because they're probably concerned about getting sued for holding on to my stuff like that for no reason, no good reason. Travis, they're all against you. Yep, they're all against me. Trying to find anything, system, searching car. They might search my car, who knows? I'd like to see Judge Owsley write a search warrant 2 months after my arrest to search my computer or something. That would be really good for his career. Seb, it's all about life experience. When you win your first civil lawsuit, you'll be untouchable. I don't believe that. Look at HBO Matt. Wasn't he put in jail as a terrorist for $100,000? And he won an $80,000 lawsuit. So, but I gotta say, I didn't really care for HBO Matt's demeanor in this video that I think that resulted in his arrest. He was cursing at the cop and yelling, calling him, insulting them and calling them stupid. I didn't, that was a different side of HBO Matt that I didn't see. Like, he was this, in this lawsuit video, he was all like a lot more polite and seemed respectful. But in this terrorist video, he was like going nuts. Like maybe he had too much candy, and so I think he talked himself into it. He shouldn't have been the one talking. It was so strange too. The driver only spoke Spanish, but he was talking English. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. They had to get a Spanish translator, but HBO Matt was talking perfect English. Like, how do they communicate? File a FOIA and ask any, yeah, file a FOIA. For if I had a nickel every time I read somebody telling me to file another FOIA. Eric Brandt won civil lawsuits, and look where he's at. Yeah, I don't see. I would want to look at more of the political aspects of the lawsuits. Like, I'm not. These guys kind of almost seem to search to try to get lawsuits for personal gain, and I really don't care about making a lot of money. It's whatever. I'm happy in the car. I got I'm really getting familiar with these yoga blocks. I love these yoga blocks, and I'm buying more and more. I'm propped up on these yoga blocks. I don't know if it shows. I mean, they could be better arranged. I mean, sometimes they get a little uncomfortable, a little pointy on the corners, but this has improved my posture a lot, because I go out and lay on the ground, and then I'm working the back of the shoulder, getting that straight, getting that tightened up, strengthening the back of the shoulder, so then I feel better in my chest, and then I lay my head back on the block and work the back of my neck. I've spent a lot of time just kind of hunched, looking with my head down, and just not really getting a good even strength balance in my neck. It's getting all messed up, and I don't know, causing swallowing difficulties. But I'm improving that with the blocks, because it's easy to stack them up and then push my back of my head against them to strengthen the back of the neck and straighten things out. It's pretty nice. So I appreciate what these blocks offer. And here in Natchitoches is when I started buying them. So I got like 9 blocks, and they keep running out on me because I'm only buying the cork blocks. I'm not going to buy those foam blocks. I'd rather just work with this cork, and it's what, $10 a block. I would be happy with, I think, regular wood blocks, but I don't think those are being sold in any way. Sunflower, how did you get the colorized banner? Oh, the wrench. So yeah, that's the blocks, and I highly recommend yoga blocks. What did you do if you have a bad toothache? Bad toothache? Me? That's happened. I've eaten a lot of dates, and they cause tooth pain, and you just sit there for a couple hours, just this agony, this pain. Well, my solution is a dietary and magnets. All right, I actually sometimes have been successful just putting a magnet stack against my teeth, and the pain goes away, because it's a nerve issue. The magnets affect the nerves. If the pain does not go away, then you got an infection. All right. So the magnets tell you if you got a nerve problem or an infection, and I've discovered that with different things. Like, I had heartburn that magnets actually remove. So that's like maybe the vagus nerve or something, that nerve that runs down there. It's interesting. But yeah, I've had tooth pain, and the magnets help, but that's only a temporary issue. I call it a nerve pain, but still, we're talking about a diseased tooth that needs to be fixed. So you got to take a nutritional approach. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, till you paid for oral surgery. Finger a day will keep the popo away. All right, so I've gotten my best results removing tooth pain with potatoes and green beans. They have some kind of nutrients that take away pain. It's really incredible to me. And then I've later discovered more recently that grass teas really help with tooth pains. And the common pain that I get is in the back molar. If that starts going out on me, the pain will start emerging, and it's pretty much a warning that I have a nutritional deficiency. So I don't have any caps on my teeth. Everything's exposed to the environment, to the food. So when pain develops, I switch up my diet, and I'll eat the potatoes, green beans, or grass tea, and the pain goes away. All right, so it's that simple for me. But everybody's different, I guess. So you gotta factor in all the other possibilities. But over the years, that's just been my go-to. Is just if I need an instant pain relief, it's the magnets, and then over time it's nutritional. So I really haven't had any serious teeth issues. So long as you stayed in one place in the last couple of years. Yeah, I've been here a couple of months. I'm practically a resident in Natchitoches. I'm thinking about going to city council on Monday night and then talking about police food delivery. That'll make a good video. I don't think they'll say a word to me. I think I'll just be the only one talking. So I'd like to bring my camera, but also a tablet, and play some videos of cops delivering food to the library, and then talking about it. I think it'll be interesting. But I don't think they'll respond. They might divert to the police chief, but they'll probably Chief Winters. He was there last time. He'll probably keep a poker face. He's like, "What? What are you talking about?" These people don't like to explain anything. So just bringing it out and talking about it, it's just something to pass the time. You've been there so long. Do you need to change your license? Yeah, I'll need to do something by July for my car plates. So I need a new sticker for that. There's nothing really else that I need to keep up on. Just waiting for the court date, March 23rd, in less than 2 weeks. It's making me a little nervous, but yeah, it's far enough out where I'm not really that nervous. But I'm trying to keep the nerves going, trying to keep the nervousness up, so I'm motivated to learn. I got some of the court procedure in mind of how I want to conduct myself. I definitely don't want to testify. I don't want to talk, and the way it sounds is pretty much, and this is a real obvious strategy, is just simply let the prosecution go through the motions, and then when they rest their case, I instantly file dismissal, motion to dismiss. It's so stupid. I've never had a situation in the court procedure where you file the motion to dismiss after the prosecutor runs through the motions of prosecuting me, whatever, interviewing the witnesses, and I think that's how it works. I have to do the motion for dismiss after the court. It's so stupid. As far as I'm concerned, motion to dismiss, motion to suppress evidence are lawful arguments, and they're done before a criminal trial. But this judge is doing it such a different way. He thinks that all the evidence should be brought before, and he could do that because there's no jury trial. They're given wide latitude to conduct themselves in bizarre ways here, because they can get they can work underneath the table in a lot of ways by avoiding a jury trial, bench trials. So yeah, I definitely have to prepare for like whatever a rehearing or whatever appeal. I'm gonna have to go right into. I have to start preparing for the appeal right away, getting that ready. Because yeah, the way Owsley talks, it's really something. Let me change. Oh, I didn't put any chat rules on this channel. I got chat rules on my cop channel. Um, and you know this parking lot seems kind of busy. I don't know. Not too busy, but there's a few people coming in. A few people coming in for church, I think. Thursday night church. Thursday evening. Ah, come on. Look at this mess. I can't even lower. Whoops. I had to move my pot so I can bring down my shade block, just to check the time. I got things piled up so high. I got to pile things up pretty high in this car to the roof. So I removed this whole ceiling and interior, and it gave me a couple of inches of space. That really and having this sunroof really takes up more space than I care for. I really wish I could have had a solid roof. I bought this car with the sunroof because I was actually living in a place, and now I'm looking at this as a homeless person, and I'm like, you know, I could use the room more than I could use a sunroof because it's an electronic issue and it's broken because somebody broke it. But yeah, it takes room that I could use. I lost a couple inches because of it. The only benefit now with it is that I can mount my camera with the jaws, but that's about it. The room would be a lot better. I could put like a suction cup or something. Yeah, and getting a bigger vehicle would be kind of cool, but now with gas prices going up, it's quite an advantage to keep the car. You ever just want to stretch out and sleep on a bed? Well, I stretched out today. I walked four of these blocks over to a little roofed open shelter, and I was able to tighten up the back of my shoulders, because yeah, it's very frustrating in this car. I have absolutely no room to stretch. I mean, this is as far as this left arm can go, and then the right arm I can, and I'm constantly reaching back, so I'm making some problems for that shoulder. But with these yoga blocks, I'm really taking a different approach to trying to fix the problems I developed from living in a car. Pretty much, I got to reverse tighten everything that I'm hunching forward like this. I got to reverse tighten back everything. And you know, really, you don't have to put a lot of effort into doing that reversal of the strength imbalances. So there's the Transits and Sprinter vans. They get great gas mileage. Well, yeah, the fewer things you got in those vans, the better your gas mileage. But yeah, I would really like to have some place that I could spread out my herbs, because I pile herbs on top of each other, and I lose some that I would like to use every so often, but I can't find them, so I just have to give up. But I try to keep some common herbs with me on top of all the other herbs, just because of the nutritional value. They're like vitamins in a way, and that's the parsley. I want to keep parsley, cayenne pepper, and I think another one. Parsley. I always want to keep parsley readily available just for my heart. I keep that. And then also celery seeds. Uh, Celery seeds kind of recent because I was eating a lot of salty canned foods and getting heart problems from that. I could actually, when you could feel your heart beating, you got a problem. it's it's not a good thing. That means your heart's struggling. If you could feel it, you're not supposed to feel it beating. If you could feel your heart beating, it's struggling. And I was doing that, and then also with the heart, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get oxygen, and that was because I think my blood pressure is too high from all the salt. So I've pretty much now, I brought in pickles, I brought in sauerkraut, now I'm kicking them out. I abused it again. I was getting swallowing problems, but today has not been a problem, and I've narrowed that problem down to either the onion powder or the honey, the Louisiana honey in particular, because I think it's a particular honey, uh, and so I want to look into that. I need a variety in my diet. And I do definitely want to have canned foods, but I'm only going to choose canned foods that are salt free, like with the corn and uh, beans, corn and beans. I want to eat more corn and beans because it's so hard to cook. It's so hard. Like I have to stand outside my car and look more suspicious. It's just like looking nervous, looking in my car, standing outside it, cooking. It doesn't look right, especially when I'm stuck in a city like this, and I'm parking in very public areas. So I'm in a bad position for cooking at the moment. I haven't cooked in weeks, so I want to turn to the canned foods for some relief. Yeah, have I gone down to the Gulf of Mexico? That's that was the part. That was the plan. It's just like I wanted to, like with Williston, North Dakota. I wanted to visit the Canadian border. I never got to in the northwest part, and then with Natchitoches, I wanted to visit the Gulf Coast, but I got stopped. It's not like I'm not just gonna go down to the Gulf Coast and have to come back. I got to research all this legal stuff, especially in a different state. If this was North Dakota again, I would have a little bit more preparation for North Dakota law because I'd likely get. I mean, it's pretty much North Dakota again, but a different state, Napoleonic rule or whatever they call it, code rules, code law, and it's a different legal system to learn. If this was North Dakota, I would be facing a jury trial. I would have the option to get out of the city court and go to district court for a jury trial. That was an option. You just checked it. They had a form. You checked the form. Do you want a jury trial? Yes. Not guilty? Yes. But in Louisiana, you're stuck with the city judge who signs your warrant, who signs your 48-hour arrest warrant. You're stuck with the same judge all throughout. And no, Louisiana is notorious for being corrupt, and that's why they can really get away with a lot of the small legal stuff and ruin people's lives. Have you ever thought about sending notice and affidavit to the judge because he swore that he would is uphold the Constitution? Nope, never thought about that. So that's this is kind of the phase now where I'm in the trial phase. Trial phase. There's no more discovery. I don't need to see any more discovery. Although my prosecutor apparently needs to see more discovery. He's so focused on discovery. I hope he's got enough time to prepare for the trial too. He's waiting on my discovery, but I've given him some messages to let him know that, hey, once again, I'm following the law, regardless of Judge Owsley's orders. I'm still following the law, so this is an appealable issue. Here, it's what are they gonna do? I want to reach out. I'd really like to talk to my prosecutor again. I'd really love to meet and record another conversation with him, but he's a little hesitant about that. Or his investigator, whatever. I'd like to see I'd like to see how much of a superstar his investigator is, because it doesn't sound like he gives his investigator enough credit by trying to get Judge Owsley to force me to submit evidence because my YouTube videos are only partially uploaded or something. I think that's the thing. I got to meet with my prosecutor or the investigator, because I think the problem was on his end. He's got maybe a YouTube blocker. He's probably got a virus. I don't understand how he's only getting partial videos. Like what? It says 25 minutes, but he's only allowed to watch 15 minutes. I don't understand. It's just that's the words he used, and I guess I failed to ask specifically, what are you talking about? But Judge Owsley was on top of it. He's like, "Oh, you better release those videos. That's an order." Because the prosecutor said he's got partial videos. He can only watch. Does anybody else have the same problems my prosecutor has with my YouTube videos? They're only able to watch partial videos. It's stupid arguments that he's setting me up. He's setting me up for failure. But I mean, this is the same hypocritical prosecutor who's saying that if I can upload YouTube videos, then I can play CD-ROM. His logic is just really out there. And there's a difference between being in courts on February 15th compared to March 7th. February 15th, the court was packed full of defendants. And Owsley, I think he was trying to be extra nice in front of the crowd. But when it was just us on March 7th, he was rude. He was a lot more rude. And I wonder if he would have conducted himself in that way if the courthouse was packed. He was probably not happy having to show up just for me. Apparently on March 7th, I was the only defendant that day. I'm the only one who's defending myself. Everybody else is just laying down and rolling over for this legal system. And a lot of it has to do with just a lack of knowledge, not understanding how the process works, because the cops are hiding their names, their police policies, their records, and it's the law apparently that they can hide their disciplinary records and awards. They can hide their awards. The judges have ruled that you can, as a public employee, if you win any awards, you're not supposed to disclose them to the public because it can make somebody jealous. It's really something. Really great logic. It'd really be interesting to see the faces of these judges. See what they look like. What kind of people make a ruling that says you can't even show the awards. You can't even do a public records request of awards that people make. Let's see. 30 months probation for Jussie Smollett. Is that today or something? Tampering with evidence. All right, make a complaint to the presiding judge. Norhing will change, but it's only for future legal purpose. You're trying to paint a picture. So it's getting darker. It's what, 6:30, and the time is going to change on Sunday, the spring forward. So there's a city council meeting on Monday, so that's very relevant. I got to keep up on the time change. I don't want to show up an hour. What is it? Spring forward. So 5 o'clock will be 6 o'clock. So I might be late, I think, right? I'm not thinking about that. 5 o'clock could be 6 o'clock, so I want to be prepared for that. Something like that. Um, there's more people keep up who feel they have been wronged from seeing they received awards. I think it's more to keep people who feel they have been wronged from seeing you mean the actual, like, yeah, if you win an award, maybe the judges should take it further. If you win an award, you shouldn't even be made aware that you won that award. All right? You just They keep the awards secrets. Maybe we should take it a step further. We could take it a step further to prevent issues with the public being notified of somebody winning an award. Just don't give anybody an award. This is a result. This is like the California approach to society. Is everybody gets a badge. Everybody gets a participation badge. There's no first places or on down. It's everybody gets an award, and that's what the judges have ruled on in 2004. You'll risk making other people jealous if you get an award, and then on the opposite end, if you get disciplines and have a discipline record, people will look down on you for that. So we can't have that. Everybody gets a badge in sports. In the 100 dash race, even the last place person gets the same award as the first place person. That's what the courts have ruled on, and this has been going on in Louisiana since 2004. Sunlight is the best. Okay. Do you ever want to meet a woman, be in a relationship? I have nothing to offer women. They want some money and a nice stable shelter. I got nothing to offer women, so I just got to stay away from that idea. So in Louisiana, everybody gets a trophy in Louisiana, because that's a Supreme Court ruling. Now, is that constitutional? It hasn't. I don't know if that's been challenged on the federal level, but it's certainly constitutional in the state level. Everybody gets an award, especially public employees. Actually, public employees are more protected than convicted criminals. Your criminal record is less protected than criminal records are less protected than public records. Public records are more protected. So that's just it's really interesting, and how it's going to affect people's psychology in this state. Not Texas, not the states over. This state, it's very unique. It takes a different approach, and I hear in the people's languages, like there is a seemingly a natural tendency for people just not to ask questions. There's a lot of crime going on, but people not asking questions. It's like I don't monkey don't see, monkey don't hear, or whatever. It's just you let the things happen as they are without questioning what's going on. Maybe it's kind of like living a religious. Maybe it's moving people towards more religious approaches to life, thinking about the spiritual aspect of living than the logical sense. Let's see. Is this a criminal case? Society is in trouble in Louisiana in particular. Could other states get that influence of everybody gets an award? What is California's position? I spent a lot of time in California, but I never got arrested. The cops approached me many times. I got many videos of cop stops, but they're a lot more patient with the ID issues and my activity. They were a lot more patient, a lot less likely to arrest me. I've never been in a California jail. So what's that approach? Is Louisiana and California similar? I mean, the Louisiana law sounds like it's something that you'd see in California, where they talk about everybody gets an award type of thing. But I don't know what's going on with that. Is this a criminal case? And if so, didn't the judge swear to the Constitution? Six jury trial. Yeah, it's some Louisiana thing. Like, yeah, it'd be interesting to see the history of this. Has this been since the beginnings of the state, where 6 months or less for a punishment in jail does not allow you to have a jury trial? Like, what is this? How long has this been going on? I mean, it's really unique, and they talk about how Louisiana is really one of the most has one of the biggest problems incarcerating people. Yeah, is old Cloyd watching this channel too? I thought I was hiding this channel from him, but yeah, the legal processes are different. On what is it? Just last week I learned about that. Well, I learned early, but I didn't start looking into until last week, that this has got the Napoleonic law. So that got my attention, and I was looking into that, and it's yeah, it's a different approach. But that's the focus for Napoleonic law is before the trial. You want to focus on the laws as part of your arguments, because that's the legal phase. It's like the judge confuses, and they can confuse the difference between a lawful issue and issue of fact. Being the trier of fact or the trier of law, he's both of those. So he confuses them. He can be there's benefits and side effects of the differences between having a jury trial or having a bench trial. You can clearly separate the trier of facts and the trier of the law from each other. The jury is the trier of facts. The judge is the trier of law. At the very least, if you don't get a jury trial, at least have different judges that overlap each other. Okay, at least have different judges. And the best they do here is you have the district judge conduct the bail hearings, and that's it. And then after that, you're just stuck with the city judge throughout all the hearings and up to even at trial. He's the one that signs the arrest warrant. Wouldn't it be something if the district judge took on the role of signing arrest warrants instead? But I mean, they do it for all arrests. Maybe they could step up that standard for all arrests. Step up the standard for district judges to sign all 48-hour arrest warrants, rather than because they're giving the city judge a lot of power to throw people in jail initially for these small offenses, and then turn around and hold the bench trial for something that they've already signed an arrest warrant on. So you don't have to really guess what direction your case is going. It's going into a trash pit, because if it's the same judge who signs your arrest warrant, it's on pace to being the same judge who's going to convict you as guilty too. It's on the same line, and your only manner of protection really is trying to reach other people and let them know this guy is elected, and if he's going to be dirty in his duties, if he's going to be a dirty duty in the dirty sense, then people need to know. And that's my job, I guess. I don't like to take on this burden, but I guess it's a burden if you know, if I can reach out to people, I'll do it. I have a tendency anyway. I have a natural tendency to want to reach out to people anyway. And the social media gives such a unique approach to that. Reach people beyond the city who can then turn around and sometimes reach back in to locals of the city too. It's like it's intertwined. I'm not just reaching people, trying to reach people in the city. I can reach out of the city, then people reach back in, and it kind of balances out the the perspectives of the locals. The local people get an idea that there's different viewpoints outside of the city, and you're not stuck in the city. I'm kind of stuck in the city, but when you don't have any criminal trials that you're facing, you're not stuck in the city. This is all a big landmass across the U.S. from coast to coast that we can explore and travel around, and there's definitely different cultures going on. You're not stuck with this culture. How many trillion can they keep giving away before your pension won't pay for a gallon of gas? I don't know. People are still getting pensions. Let's see. They don't want you to record in the courtroom. That would be too much light in their darkness. Yeah, there's certainly darkness. In my last hearing, I really needed to look at those notes. $112 is a lot of money to pay for those notes, but some of the things they said, I needed to clarify. In preparation for my trial, getting transcripts is pretty important. But then transcripts for the trial, it depends which way the trial goes. Do I want transcripts from the trial if I'm found not guilty? I kind of don't care at that point. I'm just like, see ya. But if I'm found guilty, then I need those transcripts bad, because this is gonna be an ongoing case still when I have to appeal. Harassing a sitting judge who will decide your fate is a smart move. An elected judge, and it's just a matter of reporting on their conduct, on what I find to be quite interesting. I'm reporting on their conduct. Hypocrisy is what stands out to me. I don't really see. I think hypocrisy tends to enrage people, and that's stuff that really sticks out in people's minds. And I guess, you know, that's some of the most obvious issues you can have with these authority figures is the hypocrisy. So it brings out the most passion in me, at least, discovering hypocrisy. Let's see. Valium, dude, I respect you for living like you do in a car, traveling around like a nomad. I'm not traveling now. It's interesting. Thanks for sharing all of this. Travis is really, yeah, I'm not so free now. I'm in probation pretty much. They're treating me like I'm on probation, being stuck here. I always wondered how courts, because I mean, you can't just, there's some probationary conditions where you're told not to leave the state. It's like, it's not quite being in jail, but there's jail-like aspects. This inflation is just going to get worse. Well, gas prices are really, maybe people can absorb it a little bit for a little period of time, but yeah, it's gonna weigh over time on people. And still, World War III could erupt, and I'll still be facing this criminal issue, this criminal trial. This local city court is not going to let a little thing like World War III get sidetrack them or distract them from their purpose in life, and that is to get their convictions. They're not going to let that, you know, that's outside the city stuff. They don't care about that. And look at what's going on with the gas prices. We got outside of the city influence. This isn't just a Natchitoches issue where the gas prices have shot up to $4 in the matter of a week. This is a worldwide issue, so it's something that really makes us think beyond our local area. And that's what I would like to get people to do, is think outside of the local area, that there's more influences than just what's going on in the city. I think people get that inside the box mentality, stuck in the box, thinking that there's nothing out there's not much else out there that can influence me. Court proceedings are public. Yep. Harassing the judge, your followers are lighting his phone up. What? He's not answering the phone directly anyway. It's his secretaries. Travis cannot control what others choose. Yeah, and then I can't control what they're doing. I'm not instructing anybody to contact him. I'm just saying this is what's going on with us. It's the three of us, and we're making these arguments right now. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not bound to secrecy like in the being a part of the bar. I'm just I'm trying to defend myself, and I want to use examples in the most specific manner possible. You're saying how broad should I be? If I get too broad, people will be too confused and then won't follow what I'm talking about. The more specific I can get in my complaints, the better. But then you can't get too specific, because then I could talk about, I don't know, how high the chair is and the color of it and whatever. Just, you can get too specific. I've read a book. I read this novel where this author was so annoying with each little description, every inch that the guy stepped moving through a room, and then every inch that he experienced as he was walking through a room of the things around him and whatever. It's like, good God, okay, people can go a little too far with detail, and I had to throw that book away because it just was too much detail. You can get too detailed, and I don't get too detailed, but I want to get detailed enough people could follow what I'm saying. Gas prices have been going up. Well, okay, yeah, past year, that's the argument to make, but it's really spiked. I'd call it's been going up, but then now it's recently spiked in the past week. A real judge would ask, what crime was he? Yeah, a real judge resisting commits. Yeah, but apparently this judge wants to do things backwards. You gotta do the trier of facts issues first, have the trial first, the trial of facts first, and then talk about the law second. That's what it sounds like Judge Owsley wants to do. Whereas in other states, in my experience, it's been, you argue the law first, you establish the law first, and then you argue the facts second. It's really, he in a way he seems to be jumbling facts and laws together. And if I dispute the laws, he starts accusing me of attacking the Louisiana Constitution. So it's really backwards, and it makes it difficult to defend yourself. And then they got all the tricks that they're pulling out about getting partial videos off of YouTube. And if I can upload videos to YouTube, then I can play a CD. And then we talk about email, and suddenly it's Judge Owsley asks the prosecutor, did Travis send anything to your Dropbox? And I'm like, what? We were talking about email, and then in the last hearing, and now we're talking about Dropboxes. And Judge Owsley did not want to talk about the emails. Did he email you anything? He didn't want to say that, but I think he knew in his head. He knew that we spent 5 minutes talking about email in front of 100 people, but on March 7th at that hearing, suddenly it's Dropbox. So it's really, that's so odd. That could be pointed out so easy for an appeal, and it's so odd that it's just like, it's so ridiculous that they changed the subject from. I mean, Judge Owsley even proposed to my prosecutor, make an email that's separate from your own and you two share. I mean, we had a real specific discussion about that. But in the last hearing, March 7th, did he send you anything in his Dropbox? I'm like, what? And I didn't question that. I was stunned to hear that. It's like did he send you anything in his Dropbox? That's almost like these cops saying, "Hello, Mr. Claiborne." It was just so odd to hear. He's kind of like he's mimicking the odd approaches that even the cops will take. It's just on a different level. It's these odd directions that they want to take the focus, and it's a way to cover things up. Of course, you just change you tweak the subject a little bit, make the person feel odd. It's like, hello, Mr. Claiborne. Did you send that to my Dropbox? And it's like, what? Who's Claiborne? And what Dropbox? What are you talking about, guys? You're bringing up subjects that have nothing to do with the situation that were never discussed. They're just I don't know, and it's really it's revealing to them because obviously they've had experience with the Mr. Claiborne at some point that name's been used in some capacity, and Dropboxes have been used in some capacity. Let's see. You should leave the cops. Gertrude comments. Show who they are. They hate citizens. Yeah, I believe they do hate citizens. Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with Dropboxes, but we never discussed Dropboxes. Let's see. Yeah, Claiborne's my alter ego. Thank you, Chad Oliver, for coffee. Oh, okay, I'll consider it. That's an option. Coffee's an option. Uh, let's see. I should probably get going here. It's late enough, dark enough. I can barely see myself. Gas would be a problem. Travis seems to bring out the best in our public servants. No, I bring out the best in our public servants. I'm just trying to save my tail. That's about it. Did you show your film in court? Yeah, I think what I'll do is bring in the thumb drives that my prosecutor sent me, and then they have the court clerk said that they provide laptops to play videos in at my criminal trial at. So you ask the court clerks, how can we play video in the courtroom? And this courthouse will supply a laptop, and then everybody crowds around the laptop and watches the video and being entered into the evidence. It's to be in town for a month or two, so RV would, yeah, it would be nice to have a bigger vehicle. If I'm stuck in here, I could have more things to play with in my car or in the vehicle, but whatever. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to stop this. So thanks for visiting, and I'll probably be doing another live stream again, not too far in the distance. Have a good night.